introduction, Ms. Hurd. Thank you, Congressman Davis, for inviting us to participate in this fantastic event and the chance to address these terrific young artists. Congratulations to you all. As Ms. Hurd mentioned, I co-own the online art auction site CappyBoulevard.com, and I do have a passion for finding values where others don't necessarily see it. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about why I believe that it's really the era of the emerging artist. Before Robert and I, Robert is my co-owner of the website CappyBoulevard.com, but before we founded the site, I spent my career investing in micro-cap and small-cap value stocks, which basically means that they were the smallest and least expensive 5% of all public companies. And even though they were well run, most investors didn't pay a whole lot of attention to them. They kind of flew under the radar. And so when I went to visit companies, they were usually pretty interested and pretty happy to have someone be interested in them. And by spending the time to get the information that other investors weren't necessarily looking for, I was able to find opportunities that most investors missed. And what does this have to do with you, young artists? Well, I believe that, like small and micro-cap value stocks, emerging artists are really the greatest investment opportunities that no one's ever heard of. Many people make the mistake of dismissing art or looking at it as something that's not really necessary, and obviously I don't agree. Art happens to be the biggest unregulated legal economy in the world, to the tune of $64 billion. And in fact, between 2002 and 2006, it grew about 95%. Make no mistake, art isn't fluff. We live in an abundant country, and in a country where most of our basic needs are taken care of. And so what our culture places emphasis on increasingly is creativity and innovation. We pay attention to things like iPods. They're ideas that represent conceptual leaps. They give us things that we didn't know we were necessarily missing, but we definitely glom onto once they come around. They appeal to the right sides of our brains. So it's the same reason that we go to Target and buy toilet brush cleaners that look like sculpture. And it's the same reason that students in New York at the Mount Sinai Medical School are required to go to art museums so that they can become better diagnosticians by increasing their ability to see aesthetically and to be more holistic in their treatment of patients. So, as artists, you begin with an innate advantage in this new economy by your very ability to see and to think differently. The other side of this new economy centers around the value of it. Art should always be purchased for joy, but if you can art is also an asset, and if you can get the returns with it for free, what more could you ask? When it comes to art, though, it's really contemporary art. It's your art that is where it's really at today. Contemporary art is so hot because even though people admire the old masters, what they want to own are representations of their own culture and time. Contemporary art is more topical, it's often more interesting, and now it's becoming more valuable. For the last 50 years, contemporary art has outperformed the S&P 500, which means basically that if someone had bought a portfolio of contemporary art, they'd have done better than a portfolio of stocks over the same time period. And the same thing holds true for every war of the 20th century, and for each of the last 27 recessions since 1875, art would have done better. And from an investment standpoint, and most importantly for emerging artists like you, is the fact that there is no greater advantage to buying more expensive works of art. Buyers get the same returns by buying artwork that's never been exhibited or received any citations as they would by buying the work of artists with greater notoriety. There has truly never been a better time to be an emerging artist. You have the power to inspire and, yes, to prosper. And the record's clear. The value is in the work of emerging artists. Thank you and congratulations.